So I've been running solo flawless grasp of avarice. I'm currently it's without surges, as right now the change hasn't kicked in. So all dungeons and raids still have surges for this week, but next week that's going away. So everything's getting a flat 25% buff, which means these runs will be a lot easier in terms of damage. So this video is just going over the 3 builds that I'm using for my solo flawless runs of Grasp of Avarice. So starting off with a general movement build. Now on Warlock, this consists of Transverse of Steps, an Eager Edge Sword, Mountaintop for the lunge, the boosting, the rocket jumping, and then just a normal Dawnblades with Well of Radiance for skating, Phoenix Dive for the health, Heat Rises so I can get restoration from my Phoenix Dive if I need to stay alive, and then of course Icarus Dash. Fragments don't really matter here, except from the fact I'm running something that allows me to have more resilience so I can get triple hundreds for the, it looks nice. And my class ability recharges faster when I scorch targets. This is not really necessary though, as this is just a general movement build. The only thing that matters is the Stasis Scavenger, so that I don't lose ammo for my Eager Edge Sword while running. Having some damage resistances on are good, depending on what damage you're taking at the beginning. I should actually change these to arc while I'm talking, as I take more arc damage in the intro. Here's a list of all the mods. Nothing too basic. Some heavy ammo finders, firepowers, special finisher to stack armor charges, powerful attraction gets orbs. You don't really need this, but time dilation. These are just what I normally use on bombs, so nothing fancy. On the artifact, thing to note, rapidly defeating combatants with a sword with some ammo. Not that you're doing a lot of shooting using a sword on ads. Personally, I'm just using Trinity Ghoul. But in those off chances where you need some ammo, it's not terrible. So that's a running loadout, which just an auto-loading mountaintop, an Eager Edge slammer. You can also use Falling Guillotine, or the old swords work as well. The reason I'm using the slammer or Falling Guillotine would be because it's a vortex frame, and vortex skates go much faster than adaptive skates. Alright, moving to my first damage loadout. This is the loadout I use for Ogre. So I use a Call with Subsistence and Desperate Measures. I use a Cartesian Coordinate led from Gold Vorpal, and Dragon's Breath to make sure the Ogre just stays stunned. In terms of subclass, I'm using Prismatic, and with Nova Bomb, a Healing Rift just to stay alive, Arcane Needles to proc Facet of Courage, Vortex Nade to proc Facet of Dominance, and then Feed the Void and Bleak Watcher Turrets. I don't actually use Bleak Watcher Turrets at all in the run. This could be very much changed to work with Hellion. I will actually change that to work with Hellion, because you don't use Bleak Watcher Turrets literally at all in the run. However, the other aspects aren't really that good, except from Hellion. Hellion's quite good. In terms of fragments, as I said, Dominance, Mending for the grenade health, Devour plus grenade health pretty much makes you unkillable. However, you can very much swap this out to anything that you'd prefer. Facet of Hope's pretty good, because you'll have Devour up just a lot of the time. What else do we have here? Anything else? Facet of Justice is not really something I'd go for this specific. Again, nothing here really. This one's pretty good, as you'll have Devour all the time, which means bonus Dark Energy if you need it, but I'm using the Call, so I don't need that. Melee Final Blow, start health regen. This is pretty good, so if you don't want to run Mending, you can run Blessing. What else we got? That's bad. Facet of Ruins, not that good, because I'm not running any Stasis Crystals, and those are all the fragments that we'd be focusing on. Facet of Purpose could be good though, to get a Void Overshield. But yeah, in terms of fragments, I just use these 5 So Dominance, Mending, Dawn, Courage, and Command. Important to note that Command did get that 12-second cooldown now, so it is really only good at the very beginning of a phase, which normally in these damage phases is actually enough. In terms of armor, if I just pull up this page, it's much easier to show. I'm using 1 Finder mod for each type of ammo, 3 fire powers to generate orbs for my bond, which has Star Eaters. I'm using 1 charged up stack to carry more armor charge, 1 solar reserve, and avoid resistance to match the Ogre's shooting. I'm using 2 solar surges and a scavenger just to pick up any more of that ammo. And then I'm using 2 time dilations and a proximity ward, just in case I need to finish or anything. I can stay alive, it's no big deal. In terms of the exotic bond, Apotheosis and Star Eaters. Apotheosis, not really used. The only reason I would use it is to get Transcendence. Once I have Transcendence, I just pop it in the damage phase as soon as possible. Spamming your grenade and melee isn't that good unless you are trying to gain Transcendence energy, which normally isn't a problem, because you'll get it from using the call. That's how you get your darkness. And then your light bar will fill up as soon as you throw 1 nade at the beginning, your super, and then Dragon's Breath, you'll just get your light bar like really fast. So Apotheosis is not that needed. You could very much swap this out with Necrotic Grips if you have it. I'm not lucky enough to get Necrotics. However, I could use Osmios, Filaments if I was going to use an Empowering Rift. However, I'm not going to do that. Or Assassin if I wanted to have Invis while running around. But I quite like Apotheosis. It's niche. For some cases it works, in case you just need to spam out some abilities for ad clear or whatnot. So it's pretty good. And this, then after finishing Ogre, I will switch back to the Mountaintop Trinity Ghoul loadout to do Servitor Encounter. It's just a very long slog, very boring. Just kill the 4 Servitors, shoot them up, call it a day. When I get into Boss Encounter, this is the loadout I'll be using, which is a Wither Horde, Indebted Kindness with Lead from Gold Vault Shot, and an Edge Transit with Envious Assassin and Bait and Switch. Important to note that you can also use, if you don't want to use Envious, I don't know if this thing can get field prep, but if it can, that's not a bad option. Backup mag, really the only mod on guns that you should be using these days, because everything else is pretty bad for PvE except from backup mag. Just like the only reason I use counterbalance stock on Mountaintop is because you can't use backup mag, and recoil direction from Mountaintop's quite nice. But even on the call I have backup mag on. And how does this look actually? Gold, the call. I'm not sure about this, so leave a comment if you think I should put the Trials Memento on my call. I've got 2 Trials Mementos, I'm just really indecisive and want to put them on. In terms of the subclass though, back to the build, it's the exact same subclass as before with the exact same change I need to make. So Devour, Hellion, Arcane Needle, Vortex Nades, Healing Rift, Nova Bomb, and then for Fragments, Dominance, Mending, Dawn, Courage, Command. Again, very much strip out Mending for Facet of Blessing for the extra health. It's not a bad idea, but again, you have Devour, so not terribly required as well. In terms of armor mods, I'm running 1 Siphon mod, so I can get Indebted Kindness procs for orbs, 1 Finder of each, 3 fire powers, 2 Void Reserves, 3 Surges. As I seem to not be struggling with heavy ammo in the final encounter, I seem to be getting enough for every damage phase. You only need about 20 shots per damage phase for Edge Transit, so you're saving a little bit. So I'm not really running a Scavenger. If you are not having luck with heavy ammo, I definitely would recommend switching to a Void Scavenger. And then on the bond, just 2 time dilations, nothing too fancy. Of course, the artifact mods are down here. Gain increased grenade damage while transcendent, which is very good. And Void Sources, Expanding Abyss, definitely needed though when using Edge Transit, because Void Sources deal increased damage to weaken, and using on our subclass, using Facet of Dominance, the boss will be weakened, so we'll be doing extra damage with our edge transit to the boss. But those are the 3 builds that I'm using for solo Flawless Grasp of Avarice. I hope this video has been useful. I hope it's given an insight onto what I use personally for solo damage phases. And if you've liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next run. Bye bye!